of any kind bound for Cuba, from whatever nation or port, will, if found to contain cargoes of offensive weapons, be turned back.
It's something that is done between countries. When one country tries to influence another, that's dependent upon trade. Our goal was to isolate Cuba during the height of the Cold War in order to have them rethink their direction towards communism and, in essence, the dictatorship that Fidel Castro has imposed in Cuba for the last half century and more.
Cuba is no longer a threat. The embargo started at the beginning of the 60s because Cuba was supposed to be a threat. They are no longer a threat. They should just let it be, let it go.
I think they'll care. I think the younger generation will care. I think it's going to be difficult for them to connect in the same way that their parents and grandparents did. Since they didn't actually live through it, there's more of a difficult time in connecting with what's in their lives. And it happens in all families with important events that affect how families evolve. Somebody needs to take a look at it because it's been around for a very long time. The intent was to influence Fidel Castro in Cuba, and for the most part things are very much the status quo since they were in the early 1960s. I think there comes a point where you have to make a move, and maybe now is the time.
The embargo is limiting the amount of opportunities that get to Cubans in Cuba. So lifting the embargo is something that the younger generation has to get involved with. It affects them directly.
There will be no justification of the government to say that due to the Cuban embargo, we have this poverty in the country, and they are going to realize, well, the people in Cuba, that that's not the reason why they have the poverty, and maybe they can change that government that has been already, like, I don't know, 50.
Overall, ending the embargo is the best course of action for us to take. The only time that an embargo was ever effective was in South Africa when we were trying to end apartheid, but that was something that the entire world was sort of a part of. This, on the other hand, is something that has been going on, has been over a 50-year feud that started back during the Cold War. And I think that our country, the people in our country, our executive branch, our legislative branch, have all progressed far enough to realize that the embargo is no longer a necessary step and is hindering the future of Cuba's and America's international relations.
I think that we live in South Florida. I think that for those that are not of Cuban descent, because of our proximity, because of our history, it's something that is important. It's something that's tied to the immigration history of South Florida, especially of Miami, and therefore it should be something which is of concern. And I think as fellow human beings, if this is an issue to a segment or members within our community, then it's something that we should all be consciously aware of on some level. Obviously, I don't think it is of the same import to others as it is to Cubans and Cuban Americans, but I think that you cannot escape the importance of this issue if you live in South Florida.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed our short video on the Cuban embargo.
Follow us on Twitter at HarbingerMLEC. And make sure you join our Twitter talk tonight, #EmbargoTalk at 7 p.m.